We're going to play some shows together. My first tour is coming up. So there's a lot of chemistry at play here. And I've known these guys for a better part of my whole life. They're who set me on this journey that's become my career. So there's a lot of like really cool full circle moments, and I know that that's all going to come through in the music and the live performances and just the vibe of the band in general, which is really exciting.
Yeah. Well, now that we all agree that we know what CKY is, even though it's hard to define it, and we were talking about breakfast buffets. Why don't I give you the opportunity to use a metaphor? Like, what if CKY was a breakfast cereal? What kind of cereal would it be? And more importantly, what will be the surprise gift in the box?
Dude, that is the craziest question I've ever been asked.
Mike, it is wonderful to see you. You know, you're super busy right now. A lot of stuff coming. It's going to be very busy for you. Very, very busy times. But right now, you have a cup of coffee. You're on a comfortable bed. How are you feeling? Are you chill or what's going on?
Yeah, I'm chilling, man. We're here in Nashville working on the set list for our upcoming dates in the UK. And it's cool to be around the dudes. You know, we haven't seen each other in a few months. Yeah, back in the saddle.
Exactly. Well, good, kind of country reference in Nashville. We take bonus points for that. Awesome. And the UK loves you guys, so that's gonna be fun shows. Maybe we'll get back to that later.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, there's shows. There's more coming. We had a new song come out, and that's really why we're here, because all of a sudden there was a new CKY single. I mean, I say all of a sudden, but everybody knows that the band's been working on New Reasons to Dream for quite some time. This is coming. We're not quite in Chinese democracy territory just yet, but I'm glad that everybody involved has this first single out now, that it's actually happening.
Yeah, it's exciting that it's finally out. And we just played it for the first time last night, all three of us together, like for sake of playing it in the set, and it feels really good already. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, there is more coming, we know that, but let's just first focus on the release of this single. I mean, CKY has always kind of been a band that let the music speak before anything else. Kind of like throwing this out to the fans, no long teaser campaign, no what have you, just straight out. That's not always like easy to do these days, especially with a band that comes with expectations and a whole team. I'm sure that there were more than a few internal conversations or with the supporting teams like, hey, this is what we're going to do. What's your take on like a strategy like that, especially where like we're in an always on music business world, right? Or like, maybe not for underground black metal bands, but for established bands, it's like, hey, every few months there has to be a single. After a waterfall release, we'll have an EP, maybe an album, and the next cycle has already started. What kind of conversations are going on in the band with you guys to say like, hey, we want to do it differently?
Well, you nailed it already. Like, yeah, there's a lot of discussion that goes into the rollout of new music. And as you mentioned briefly, slightly, people don't really have that much of an attention span these days. It's worse than it's ever been. So it's like, you got to keep feeding the machine. Mm-hmm. And that's why we chose to, to do a single. Can't Stop Running just came out. We literally, right before I got on the phone call with you, we were talking about our strategy for what's next, for the next song to come out and win. So we're working on that. There's going to be another single on the horizon. And I think that's what we're going to do for the next couple releases. Will just be like kind of feeding the machine, while we have sprinkled in some tour dates here and there. We've got UK coming up. We've got Australia in January, actually. And then we've got some stuff coming up throughout 2026. So yeah, we're going to slowly start rolling stuff out. And, I mean, we released Can't Stop Running without telling anybody. It was kind of like a surprise, new music. There was a couple little teasers on the stories on Instagram, but we chose to kind of just like kick the door down. And I think that's exactly how we did it. And it performed really well. So it was really cool.
Yeah. Now, I mean, you're a new band member. I mean, you know this band for a long time. Like some people say, don't meet your heroes. You joined your heroes in a band because you've been on record that you've been more than a fan in the past of this band. We obviously know you from a ton of other stuff. Maybe we'll get back to that. But knowing that this band has been working in some capacity on this new material for at least 5-6 years, if not longer. What's that like for, stepping into that role then? Like, first of all, that must be daunting because there's a lot of, you want to live up to expectation. There's legacy that people expect. You also have, knowing you from what all the other eclectic stuff you've worked on, you're going to want to bring your own flair to that as well. You don't just want to be, a hired gun. Like, how was the feeling going into that? But then also how, involved or how active, I guess maybe is the right word, have you been with these first releases that are coming out?
That's a great question. And to your point, yeah, there's been a lot of time, and Chad has so many songs. He's just constantly, they're not maybe songs, but he's just always creating. Chad is always constantly creating. There's a nice reservoir, I would say, of potential songs, and some are further along than others. But yeah, coming into that, that was something that happened before my time here, and we're in the process of kind of sifting through and seeing Can't Stop Running was kind of a test, kind of like to knock the dust off, as it were, kind of coming back and seeing. But the response has been so great that it's like, okay, well, let's, kind of keep that momentum going, moving forward. And there's a lot of stuff in the chamber, but I'm here to be as involved as I possibly can with creating of music, with doing, speaking with folks about what the band's intentions are moving forward. And I'm very thankful that I have all the experience that I have in my past with everybody that I've worked with. I feel like all of these steps have been leading to this. And now I'm super confident in my abilities, what I bring to a team. And it's exciting moving forward. I think we're in a really healthy place as a band, and I know that's going to come forth with the music, and the fans are going to dig it because I am a fan. I'm the number one fan. Yeah. So it's like, you can see I'm proof. Keep dreaming, dude. You never know, right?
There you go. Maybe Mark Wahlberg will play you in the movie in the future. Rockstar number 2 sequel.
That'd be sick.
I mean, obviously, a lot of metalheads will know you, maybe predominantly from Soulfly. Obviously, we're Havok as well. You've been part of or working with a ton of stuff. I mean, with Igorr as well, and all very uniquely different things. So you bring a wealth of techniques to CKY. Now, CKY obviously is also kind of known as not sticking to boxes too much, but let's say a little bit less extreme than some extreme or proggy extreme bands that you've been part of. As you're gearing up for these shows and when you're playing these songs, and bringing your identity to it, what's the most fun or out there technique that you've allowed yourself to kind of seep into CKY new sound?
Well, after rehearsing with the guys for a few times, I will say last night we are so dialed in right now that we played Familiar Realm, and Chad helped me dial in a CKY-esque tone, but my approach to playing bass is I have a very heavy hand, and it comes across with the tone. It's a really nice platform to start from tonally, and Jess and I were so locked in on Familiar Realm. He's like, I'm in love with that song again. We got to put it earlier in the set list, so I feel my strong hand and my percussive playing style really helps, add to what is the rhythm section. and that's what's driving these songs. And Chad's over there just doing science, man. He's got all these pedals, all these effects. He's doing vocals. He's shredding on guitar the whole time. So we're really just cooking right now, my boy. We are cooking in the lab, and it's really it's crazy to see and feel it come to fruition, because I have played in a lot of very eclectic bands, everything from thrash metal, melodic death metal, groove metal with Igorr. I don't even know what to call that. That's just
Igorr.
Up madness.
Just Igorr.
Yeah, Igorr is Igorr. Yeah. And like I said, I kind of bring a little bit from every one of those experiences, and it's all led me to this path. And right now, where it's strong, the songs are sounding really killer. So.
Yeah. Now, with what you say, like, I mean, we know that you've played in an eclectic range of bands. CKY, is always does things a little different, anyways. And then you also said, well, the songs that we've been working on for these new singles and for what's to come, some of that material, if not all of that material, are from earlier creative sessions. I mean, we've dusted them off. I mean, the only thing that we can conclude then is that when eventually there's going to be the album coming out, that is going to be quite an eclectic thing itself. How do you make sure when you're working on? Because a lot of people are going to look at this singles, yes, great, but when the first really new album comes out, everybody's going to kind of look at that like, hey, this is like the grand return. This is the start of a new era, what have you, and people are going to analyze that album. Right. Is it then fair to say that we should almost expect almost more like an anthology feel to that versus like, this is a clear new, like, cohesive, but cohesive is not the wrong word, because I don't want to say that an anthology could not be cohesive, but it sounds like we're going to get quite a buffet, maybe that's the better word, of different different styles and sounds. Well, who doesn't? Come
on. Absolutely. One thing I will say is, yes, it's going to be eclectic. Obviously, all of us listen to all kinds of stuff. There's all sorts of references and things that we pull from. But one thing is for certain, it sounds like CKY. Like, right. You're going to open up a book and it's going to say CKY, and then every song is just going to be another chapter from that book, and that's pretty much all you can really ask for. And I've heard a lot of what's in the chamber, and as a fan myself growing up, I'm stoked on all of it, Right. And I'm confident that even when we go to create new things, it's going to be the same, because I know what CKY sounds like. Chad is the sound of CKY. Jess is the sound of CKY.
Yeah.
And I'm excited at the prospect of creating new stuff. There's stuff in the chamber, but I am very excited about creating some new stuff, because it's, like I said, we're in a really cool place right now. Everybody's really excited. It's a healthy, situation. We're going to play some shows together. My first tour is coming up, so there's a lot of chemistry at play here. And I've known these guys for a better part of my whole life. They're who set me on this journey that's become my career. So there's a lot of like really cool full circle moments, and I know that that's all going to come through in the music and the live performances and just the vibe of the band in general, which is really
exciting. Yeah. Well, now that we all agree that we know what CKY is, even though it's hard to define it, and we were talking about breakfast buffets. Why don't I give you the opportunity to use a metaphor? Like, what if CKY was a breakfast cereal? What kind of cereal would it be? And more importantly, what will be the surprise gift in the box?
Dude, that is the craziest question I've ever been asked. On the spot, let me see. So it's an eclectic project, so there has to be different textures, obviously. I would imagine that there would obviously be some sort of crunchy, sweet flakes of sorts, maybe chunks, I don't know. And to contrast that, I would imagine something like maybe, fluffy and sweet like marshmallows. I don't know what they could be shaped like, maybe little guitars and drumsticks, little snare drums. I don't know. But the gift inside the box, that's incredible. I don't really know. That's a really hard one. Maybe like a cassette tape with like a new single in it, How crazy would that be?
That would be pretty sweet. That would be pretty sweet.
Gotta buy
I
the
mean,
box, and
I
there's like
already start
different
to think
boxes.
about like how crazy the merch section is going to be now with these special gift, cereal boxes that you can buy. And it would be like an insider joke to the diehard fans that if you buy a cereal box, it actually comes with a new song. That would be pretty cool. Well, I
The
mean, maybe
marketing
to
door is
draw
wide open.
exactly. Like that, I'll use that as a bit of a segue to your fan base. I mean, because you've got and coming at it as a fan yourself, it must have been an interesting perspective. But I mean, CKY is one of those bands that, depending on who you talk to as a music listener, CKYs are like, oh yeah, I've heard of this band. They've been around for a long time, or like it's like the Lords of the Universe and nothing else will do as a title.
Mhm.
Like you've got an extremely ardent, strong fan base, and at times to me it feels like it's like heavily region specific. Like I mean, you're gonna go play shows in the UK. I would say that CKY in the UK is massive compared to in other markets, for example.
Sure.
What's your take as a fan turned band member? What that specific appeal is, and why you think that certain regions are just like really on board with CKY?
That's a fantastic question, and I think I know exactly why, because it holds true to like my interests growing up as well. These guys were touring and going places like Iceland and hanging out with bands from Finland and stuff. And truly, as a fan of the band, I might not have delved so deeply into those regions, cultures, bands, people, if it weren't for their influence. And
Mm.
they're very well traveled, and they was very well documented. So I think that that's a really cool aspect of this band, and why we were just speaking about this last night, like looking at our regions and which ones are performing better, and it's all across the board. Obviously the UK, because we're about to go there. They're heavy on the list. Australia, because we're going there. But then you got places like Finland, and it's obvious because there's ties to that culture
Yeah,
and that
that history.
region. Yeah, and so maybe we're gonna try to start going over there and kind of bouncing around. And then there's a lot of interest to go to countries that the band has never been to before, and possibly because of my influence becoming coming from like a very heavily South American influenced band. Now we're getting some interest to go down there, and the band's never been down there, so it's possible that we're going to entertain
Oh
going
no,
down to
we're
that
gonna see
region.
10,000 posts on this interview. Come to Brazil. Come to Brazil.
It's
Come
already happened. It's
to.
inevitable. It's inevitable, dude. Come to Brazil, day one.
You are going to be insanely busy. Okay, so we know that you're in the middle of rehearsing this set. So to wrap us up, I mean, we know already that more music is going to come out. It's going to be super busy. We're gonna see way more shows still announced than already are announced. But for these upcoming shows, especially in the UK, obviously people there are going to come to the show with a long list of demands, like
Always.
even though there will still be some people in the UK that haven't seen you play before and they just want to get their first introduction. But is there one thing that you can share with us that we could get really excited about the set list that we might not expect?
I don't want to, crack the egg too early, but
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's a lot, dude. And as like I said, as a fan, I'm hearing all the songs that I want to hear. We're
There
playing all
you
the
go.
songs that I want to hear. We're definitely playing some songs that are, very synonymous with the band and with the culture of CKY. It's that time of year, so we can dust off some of those holiday songs, maybe. And there's new music in there too, so it's the set list is cool, man. It's like a roller coaster ride.
Awesome. Well, I'll keep my fingers crossed that we get up here in Canada, we get lots of opportunities, either right here or just a short trip across the border.
Mhm.
Even though our countries might be at war right now, we'll make that happen. Mike, thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate it. I know that these are I mean, this might be the calm before the storm, but it's still very busy for you. So I do appreciate you taking the time. Go find another buffet and see if you can mash together some cereals and slap a fun CKY punny name on that. Have the best time on these first shows, and I can't wait to see more coming our way.
Awesome, man. Yeah, thanks so much for your time, and it was really cool talking to you, man. You have some really killer questions, so I look forward to doing it the next time too.
You are awesome for watching this video. Click right here to see more content like it and subscribe to the channel.